Today, we're going to talk about a truly thought-provoking story. The transcript for this story was provided by the Buddha Gaya Association of Australia. At its heart, it's about a monk who must make an impossible choice between his sacred vows and his very life. Alright, let's dive straight in. Our protagonist is a deeply devout bhikkhu named Atpalavarna. He is faced with a terrifying ultimatum given by a sorceress. Either break your precepts or be burned alive. It's a binary choice. There is no third option. You might wonder, how does a pure-hearted monk, someone who has renounced worldly desires, end up in such a life-threatening predicament? It seems so bizarre. To understand how he got here, we need to rewind the tape and see who Atpalavarna really was. Utpalavarna was born into a wealthy family. His name matched his appearance. He was incredibly dignified and handsome, like a pure lotus flower rising from the mud, untinted. He wasn't just good-looking, he was brilliant, too. From a young age, he had a deep faith in the Buddha's teachings. Eventually, he made a firm decision to walk away from his affluent lifestyle to pursue the path of spiritual cultivation. But life has a way of throwing curveballs. A small accident can change everything. Once, while traveling to a city called Mathura, he got lost. In his confusion, he accidentally wandered into a brothel. There, he was immediately stopped by a prostitute. The moment she saw his dignified presence, she was consumed by overwhelming desire and made a very lewd demand of him. Utpalavarna was, of course, terrified. He refused immediately and ran away. However, the prostitute's obsession was frightening. She spent a fortune to hire a sorceress to use dark magic to forcibly drag him back, setting this deadly trap. Hearing this, you might think, this is outrageous. Why would such a good practitioner face such a thing? The Buddha explained that the answer lies 500 lifetimes ago. The concept of karma. This brings us to a core concept, karma. Many people think of karma simply as good begets good, evil begets evil. That's true, but it goes deeper. Imagine every action we take, every word we speak, and even every fleeting thought as planting a seed. These seeds will eventually sprout and bear fruit. The massive trouble Upalavarna faced was actually the result of seeds he planted a long time ago. If we go back to the era of Kashyapa Buddha, Utpalavarna was a Dharma teacher. The prostitute and the sorceress from this life, they were his two wives back then, and they eventually joined the monastic order together. You see, the karmic bonds between the three of them were already deeply entangled. The Buddha further explained that Atpalavarna and that prostitute had been husband and wife for exactly 500 lifetimes. Think about that, 500 lifetimes. That connection is incredibly deep. So, when the prostitute saw him in this life, that uncontrollable, almost insane desire to possess him wasn't love at first sight. It was the tugging of karmic energy from the depths of her soul. And what about the sorceress? It turns out that in that same past life, after the two wives became nuns, they had a massive argument. One called the other a prostitute, and the other shot back, calling her a low-born woman. Those two insults, blurted out in anger, acted like a self-imposed curse in the world of karma. They literally wrote the script for their future lives with those words, the choice and the miracle. Now that we know the cause and effect, let's return to the scene. Faced with the roaring flames of the fire pit, Utpalavarna made his choice. He didn't choose to cling to a shameful life. He chose to protect his faith. He said, "To protect my precepts, I would rather jump into the fire pit." Wow. That sentence is incredibly powerful. It wasn't just a refusal. It was a declaration that his commitment to his spiritual path was stronger than his fear of death. It was this pure, resolute conviction that generated a staggering power. It was like a beam of light piercing through the darkness in the hearts of his two captors. What they saw wasn't a pathetic victim about to be burned. They saw the greatness of a saint. In that instant, they were filled with intense shame and regret. Then, a miracle happened. The fire pit vanished instantly, replaced by a pool of cool lotus flowers. The two women immediately knelt and sincerely repentant. Upalavarna didn't blame them. Instead, he compassionately taught them the Dharma and guided them toward the path of cultivation. And guess what? These two people who originally tried to kill him eventually attained the highest realization. He became arhats. What is an arhat? In Buddhism, it's a very high state. It means a person has completely eliminated greed, anger, and ignorance, and is totally liberated from the painful cycle of birth and death. For them, it was a transformation from hell straight to heaven. Seeing that the two disciples he guided had reached an even higher realization than his own, Utpalavarna felt no jealousy. Instead, he was deeply inspired. This reminds us that true practitioners feel joy for the progress of others. He doubled his efforts. Before long, attained the food of arhatship himself. What does this mean for us? So, what does this ancient story spanning thousands of years have to say to us in modern society? It highlights several crucial truths in our personal relationships. Sometimes, when you feel a special vibe with someone, whether you get along perfectly or just can't stand each other, there might be a deep, pure, invisible connection behind it. The power of wisdom. No matter how strong the force of karma is, true wisdom and unwavering conviction have the power to turn the tide. The weight of words. Our speech isn't just sound, it has creative power. It can pave a road for you, or it can dig a pit. As a master once taught, this story reminds us that even our tiniest actions and thoughts are silently shaping our future. We must never underestimate them. I'll leave you with a very direct question to ponder. With the words we speak, the things we do, and even the thoughts in our minds today, what kind of script are we writing for our future selves? Every moment is a choice, and that choice is actively shaping the person we will become.